Hi, welcome to Nova English Academy Tips and Tricks. Today I'm going to be talking to you about understanding the different CEFR levels. What is the CEFR? Well, it's the Common European Framework Reference for English Use. This shows us all around the world that you have a certain level of English, beginning at A1, which is beginner, moving to A2, pre-intermediate, then the all-important B1, intermediate, B2, upper intermediate, C1, advanced, and C2, proficiency. Here in Spain, it's really important to get the B1. This is because if you go to university, you need the B1 in order to graduate and get your diploma. We understand how difficult this is to do when you're already at university and you should be studying really hard for the subject that you're at university for. That's why we recommend getting your child into an academy as soon as possible, and hopefully they can achieve the B1 by the time they're 13 or 14, if they've started with us around the age of 6 or 7. Most students who come to us ask for the B1, and they ask for the B1 in 2 or 3 months. This is unrealistic unless you've had previous study habits, or you've been studying at school, or you've studied yourself from school to whatever age you are now. Any school that tells you you can get a B1 in 3 or 4 months when you haven't studied since you were in high school is lying to you. It's impossible. It takes a lot of work. The shortest in my 15-year career I've seen anybody get a B1 with no previous study habits is 6 months, and they were dedicating 6 hours a day to learning English. You must be prepared to think, I need at least a year to get a good solid B1. When you come to us, I will always do a level test, and I'll be honest with you. If you're not yet ready to do a B1, I won't put you in a B1 class. Not because I don't want you to get a B1, but because you'll be missing too much A1 or A2 foundation grammar and vocabulary. This foundation vocabulary and grammar is something that the B1 level assumes you already know. And if you don't, it's going to be very confusing for you at the B1 level, and you may need much longer on that particular grammar point than a class will allow, as we have to move at the pace of the majority of the students. So we will always recommend that if you're not quite ready for a B1, that you do a few one-to-one classes to get you caught up so that you're in the right place to be as successful as possible. If you're looking to go into the B2, which is very important these days because, let's face it, many people have the B1. So a lot of employers are now asking for the B2. Many schools will tell you you can do this in 1 year. Again, that's not really possible unless you've got very strong study habits and you've just finished doing a B1. A B2 is usually 2 academic years long. This is because the majority of grammar is actually learned during the B1 and B2 levels. By the time you reach C1, you have been exposed to nearly all of the grammar in the English language. The B2 is a very difficult level because of that. They expect you to learn all of the grammar by the time you're B2 finished. So when you're ready to go into that exam, they expect you to know pretty much all of the English grammar that there is. Another thing that's difficult about the B2 is how much writing you have to do and the speed at which you have to do it. So trying to do this in 1 year, as I said, is unrealistic. You really need to allow yourself 2 academic years or commit to a very strong study schedule to make it through in 1 year's time. Again, we will always level test you, so we will be honest with you. And if you're having trouble with a particular grammar point or a particular vocabulary group at any level, just tell us and we'll give you extra material to help you with that. Or come to class one day and say, Beth, I'm not too sure about reported speech, and I'll give you a class on reported speech. One of the benefits of having been teaching for 15 years is I don't need a lot of time to prepare a lesson on any grammar point for B1 or B2. If you need help that day, I can give you help that day. If you're thinking of moving into the advanced levels, C1 and the very difficult C2, be prepared to spend, again, 1 to 2 years per level. Whereas with the B2, grammar is the main focus, in C1, vocabulary is the main focus. We really want to stretch the amount of vocabulary that you have and how easy it is for you to produce that vocabulary. And by the time you make it to C2, you're expected to be not just as good as a native speaker, but in most cases, better. You'd be surprised how many students I have at C2 who actually understand, apply, and use English much better than many native English speakers do. Anyway, I hope that's helped you understand the different CEFR levels that there are. If you have any questions, send us a message, drop us an email, or pop into the Academy and speak to us, and we'll be happy to help answer any further questions that you have. Take care. Bye.